John, Tommy, congratulations. You fellas have made it into the final round of this competition. It's time to step up your games and make something worthy of a Forged in Fire champion. Now it's time to send you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the M1832 Foot Artillery Sword. You'll have 4 days at your home forge in which to complete this challenge. At the end of your 4 days, you'll return and present your weapons to our panel of expert judges, and after they've tested the hell out of them, you guys will graduate from child's play to full-fledged Forged in Fire champion who wins a check for $10,000. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
Back here in my shop, here in Gainesville, Texas, and I'm taking on the M1832 Foot Artillery Sword. Today, I want to get the basics forged out. I'm using a car leaf spring because I use leaf spring a lot. It makes a really good blade. It hardens really well and it tempers really well. My secret weapon for moving this metal is an 8-pound hammer. Why? Everything's bigger in Texas, that's why. My tane's a little off-centered, so I had to fix it. I'm gonna throw it in the hydraulic press to get it centered out. A little slower. She's a little ugly, but she moves metal. That's all that matters. Oh, perfect. Woohoo!
Today I'm going to get working on the handle. I'm going to be putting a lot of my own twists in this weapon. So I'm making a cast bronze handle. In order to cast this out of the bronze, I've got to make a positive regardless. So I could use any type of wood. I could use clay. This is just a really easy material to work with. So the idea is that the metal is going to travel down this tube. It's going to fill this handle up. It's going to come down the bottom, fill these up, and those will come out in the mold as cast bronze. So this is a razor tip wood burner. I'm going to use this to put the dragon scale texture. This handle is going to take longer than the blade when it's all said and done, but I think it's going to be well worth it. Love it. Looks great.
Yesterday, like putting in the fullers and quench. So I'm gonna start forging the garden pommel. We'll get her done. I'm using a piece of round stock, mild steel. Nothing special, but it works. Looks good. So grind the bevels in is what I'm gonna do next. I'm here, round 3. So happy I'm in round 3 to begin with. And build so far is going really good. My blade goes through and it catches on the belt. It has happened to me in a similar situation where it's catastrophic. This stupid thing. I have a curl in my actual edge. I have to match the rest of the edge to that lower point now. If I don't, this could potentially be a weak spot. Just gonna grind it out. Nothing I can do other than that. Just gotta roll with adversity.
Today I have to finish getting the handle cast. I've got the original built. Now I need to make the mold for it. So this is casting sand, so it holds shape really well. So what I'm gonna do is pack this down into the bottom of my flask, lay my positive in there, and then pack it in nice and tight. Beautiful. That's awesome. So I've got my 2 halves now. Now I'm ready to put them back together and get them out to the foundry. I've got some bronze that I'm gonna start melting down. Once those get into a molten state, then we'll be ready to pour. The first time you're casting any design, there's always a lot of issues that can come out. You know, the metal could cool down too much before it gets down to the bottom. The mold could collapse on itself. It could just wreck inside and I don't know it. All right. If this doesn't work, I'm screwed. A bad pour is gonna set me back at least half a day, and I really don't have that time to spend. Whoa! That was 3,000 degrees of metal hitting 60-degree water. There she is. Woo! And the cool thing about bronze is that there's no carbon in it, so you don't have to worry about cracking or anything like that. I came here to prove that I can deliver more than I did in the first 2 rounds, and I'm really excited to show the judges what I've done. It's a $10,000 sword if I've ever seen one.
To find out what kind of deadly force your artillery swords can supply, I will take your weapon, deliver killing slashes on this ballistics dummy. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Ready.
I like the beauty of an all-metal construction, and the Damascus pattern you have here is gorgeous. The weight is all the way in the handle, allows for a good recovery and forward delivery of strikes. Your edges are very sharp. Every cut cuts deep, cuts the bone and into the organs. And most importantly, sir, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, your turn. You ready?
Get her done.
The weight of your weapon is all forward, that it actually takes a lot to pull it away for a second strike. But the thing that your beast does have is a very sharp edge. Every cut is very deep, but it takes a lot of work to control this beast. More importantly though, sir, it will kill.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test. Now, why bring swords to a gun range? Well, so you too can join one of our 2 clubs. The Oh My God, They Broke My Blade with a Bullet Club, or the Bulletproof Sword Club. So to test your blades, we've got our firearm locked in a vise. We've got your blade locked in another vise downrange. We're gonna fire 1 round at that thing. It should split that bullet clean. Or worst of all, see that blade shatter. John, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Okay. Fire.
4 holes.
You can actually see top and bottom where that bullet went across your blade. And you can see there's 4 holes in the thing over there. That's the lead core and the jacket going in different directions. So you split that bullet nicely. I don't see any damage to your blade. Well done.
Excellent.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Fire.
There we go.
All right, Tommy, well, your blade took some damage in that bullet test. There's a chip in one spot, and the other spot you can actually hear my fingernail catching on that roll. Having said that, it doesn't feel bad in my hand, but it is very heavy for this type of sword. But as far as the strength test goes, as you can clearly see, you took some damage.
All right, bladesmiths, now that we know your blades can take a bullet, it's time to find out if they can cut. This is the sharpness test, the shot bag slice. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yep.
It is fun to wield. It is fun to move around. It cuts with every slice. It will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Tommy, it's your turn, sir. You ready?
Let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, Tommy, on the stationary cuts, it cuts cleanly. It's a sharp blade. Now, when I'm moving around and changing my balance because of the weight of the blade, it does affect the way I'm cutting. So some of the cuts are not clean all the way through. There's some strands. More importantly, your weapon here, though a beast, it will cut.
John, Tommy, the judges have made their final decision. Our new Forged in Fire champion is... John, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion, and that is a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job, brother.
Thank you. Feels great to be the next Forged in Fire champion.
Good job, man.
I'm super proud of all the work that I've done. I've come here and done tests that I've never would have expected, put myself into challenges that I never would have tried before, and I've succeeded, so I feel awesome.
Chris, John, congratulations. You guys have made it into the third round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate this iconic weapon from American history. General Patton's saber. Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
Come on, come on. Today, I'm gonna build the actual blade part of the saber. I'm making a ladder pattern Damascus billet. I'm stacking 1085 and 15N20. So ladder pattern Damascus, it's a simple pattern. I'm gonna weld it, put some layers into it, and then cut it with the chop saw and then draw it out. This is a large blade, and there can be a lot of things that go wrong with this much forging. So I'm not comfortable putting all my eggs just in that one billet. So my plan is to make a 5160 billet. So I have insurance that I'll have a good blade for this build. I got lots of eggs, I got tons of eggs, and you guys need some eggs. Anybody want eggs?
Today, I hope to get the blade quenched, so I need to get this fire going. I've picked up a little bit of a curve in this thing. I do notice that it's not an exact even heat up in the fire. There's more heat towards either end than in the middle. I don't want to waste too much more time chasing it out. There's always a chance that a lot of it will come back out once I dip it in the quench. I believe my blade has gotten hot enough. I am ready to quench. While my blade was heating up, it wasn't an exact even heat up in the fire, so I do still have a fairly significant S-curve warp to it. So I quickly throw it between a couple of big chunks of wood to see if I can address the warp. If this doesn't work, I'm screwed. Okay. I've got a very, very slight warble right towards the end, but I'm positive I can take it out with the grinder, so we might be in good shape. Feel pretty good about that. I think I'm getting very slightly soft, close to the hilt. Rather than go through the quench process again, I think I'm just gonna go with it, keep my fingers crossed, and pray to the gods.
This morning I'll figure out which blade is going to be worthy of going forward. I really want the Damascus to be my sword. So I start grinding on it, and right away I start seeing some delaminations in this edge here. They want to fall apart. I'm gonna scrap the Damascus, save it for the back strap, and move on to the 5160 and make that my blade. I'm not gonna take a risk with $10,000 on the line. I go to the forge, get it hot, and I go in the quench tank. When I pull this knife out of the oil, I have a nice straight sword.
It's the morning of day 4. I think I've got myself set up really well for a final day of construction and refinement. Once I have my wood block shaped for my handle, I start figuring out how I'm going to try to make this back strap. Got this old, kind of cool looking spoon of unknown metal. I think it's some sort of steel plated in some sort of other metal. But it looks cool, and I'm going to beat and bash and bend it until it fits around the back of my handle. All right, I get it glued up to the rest of the sword. Now once my epoxy sets, it's gonna be time to move on to sharpening. So this blade is sharp as a razor, and it's ready for testing. It will cut.
Today I gotta put everything together, put the final edge on the sword, and test it. So it's time to get the guard started. So we'll go up to the plasma cutter, and we cut out a piece of sheet metal that's gonna become our guard. I'm a horseshoer. We have horses. Put a horse on it. Horse head for the cavalry sword. This is my version of the cowboy's cavalry sword. Say that twice. I'm gonna acid etch the guard black, and I'm gonna put some enamel over the top just to preserve it. And then line the inside of the guard with pig leather. So I'll make sure it's nice and comfy for their hands. I finish assembling the sword just with enough daylight to be able to test it. This is whiskey. Hey, it worked. I'm finished building this crazy sword, and why not go out with a bang? America!
Welcome to the kill test. Your sabers look deadly. To find it out, I will take your weapon, deliver some slashes and thrusts on this ballistic stump. John, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Cut its heart out. It's just not right.
All right, John, first up, let's talk about the handle construction. It's a little bit on the big side, but I'm able to hold on to it. Now, your edge. It's very sharp. And it is a pleasure to wield because aside from looking beautiful, it will kill.
Thank you very much.
All right, Chris, your turn. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
All right, Chris, let's talk about your saber here. First up, what I love about it, it's got a sharp edge. Every swing I do cuts. The one thing here is that you did pick up a little bit of a bend right here at this junction. It's warped a little bit. But it pierces and cuts, and most importantly, it will kill.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bladesmiths, for a strength test, I'm going to take your sabers and I'm going to beat them and stab them into these field obstacles. Now, I'm not really concerned about what your swords do to our obstacles. I want to see the opposite, what they do to your swords. John, you're up first. You ready to go? Ready to go. Nice job, John. I like the blade. The sword itself overall is on the heavy side. The handle is a lot there, a lot of extra weight. It does help counterbalance quite a bit, though. Still got a good edge on it. There's some pretty heavy strikes on there, and the blade bent but came back to true. It's all right, tight, and straight. Good job.
Thank you.
How you feeling, Chris?
Good as I can be, sir.
All right. That right here.
Oh.
No cuts, no blood.
Lucky day.
Chris, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure in our strength test, and unfortunately, you cannot continue with testing, which means you cannot be the Forged Fire Champion. Please exit the forge. Come on forward, pal.
I did have a small issue when it got to my heat treat.
That's all right, man.
I didn't want to risk a second quench because I didn't want to make it overly brittle. I do have some regret about that decision at this point. Of course, I would have liked to be the Forged and Fire Champion, but I am really proud of myself as a weapons maker, and I plan on getting right back in my forge when I get home, and I'm gonna move forward as ever.
Well, John, General Patton was known for being a tough guy, and you made a tough and sharp sword that really honors his name. Congratulations, you are the Forged and Fire Champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you feel right now?
Oh, yeah!
All right, man, come on over and shake our hands. Good job, brother. It's a beautiful sword.
Yeah!
I'm the new Forge and Fire champion.
You did a phenomenal job on that hay tree.
Thank you, sir. I'm proud of what I did, and it's been a fun deal. Hey, can I get a Forge and Fire belt buckle now? No belt buckle. Come on.
Well, Paul, Isaac, congratulations. You are both moving forward to round 3 of our competition. Now, you guys are heading back to your home forges to work on yet another iconic weapon from the Civil War era. And that weapon is Ulysses Grant's Donaldson Sword.
The Donaldson Sword is a commemorative blade awarded to General Ulysses S. Grant for his victory at Fort Donelson in February of 1862, one of the first major Union victories of the Civil War. The weapon features a highly ornate handle and an engraved blade based on the popular 1860s officer sword. After General Grant's death, his wife donated the sword to the Smithsonian Institute in 1886, and it remains under their care to this day.
You have 4 days to work on your swords. Good luck. See you then.
I'm Isaac Gardner, and I'm 24 years old. I'm a full-time jeweler. As a jeweler, there's a lot of small detail work and making sure that I have something that's 1, comfortable, 2, strong, and 3, looks amazing. So as a bladesmith, I focus on the same 3 aspects. It's time to quench it.
Hopefully it came out hard.
That's hard, that's hard. Oh, I feel so much better. I need the rear-facing quillion, the 2 clamshell guards, and the knuckle bow.
It's gonna be something like that.
So now that I have the components complete, I can move on to welding them together. I'm really happy with how it's looking.
That's so cool.
It's really ornate and complex. I cut in the channels for my turquoise and amber inlay.
There we go. Cool beans.
I've worked really hard up to this point, and now I'm so happy with my General Grant's Donaldson sword.
I'm Paul Sutt. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a personal trainer. So I've been a lifelong martial artist and a weapons expert, and when I had the opportunity to learn how to forge, I jumped on it as fast as I could. It's just my passion. So we're getting close to quench time. It's a little tricky for me because I've never done a blade this thin before. I'm nervous as hell. 2 whole days hammering this sword out. If something goes wrong with the quench, there is no time to do that again. Here we go. Don't feel any tings or pings or anything. I pull it out and I'm so happy. It looks straight, it looks perfect. So now I'm gonna do a little bit of work on the clamshell, try to make it look as pretty as I can, as quick as I can, and then it's gonna be shaping the handle into a comfortable handle. Almost. So I finally got all the pieces to fit on the tang. All right, this entire experience has been more fun than I ever imagined it would be. The blade is a little bit chunky, but it will kill.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. The sword was made to be a dueling type of weapon, so I'm gonna try to deliver the same light slashes and thrusts on this ballistics dummy. Paul, you ready for this?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. All right, Paul, let's talk about your version of General Grant's Donaldson sword. The weight on this blade is not that of a dueling sword because it requires a little bit more than just wrist movement. But it is a great cutting sword. Your edges are sharp. Even with the harassing cut you can see there, cut deeply. And more importantly, sir, it will kill. Isaac, your turn, sir. You ready for this?
I guess.
Okay. All right, Isaac, let's talk about your weapon here. What I like about it is the time you took to put these details that we were asking for on your sword. Every cut was deep, and not a lot of power is required when you're swinging something so light. But in probably hitting the bone, your blade did take a slight bend. But overall, sir, your weapon, you'll kill.
Thank you.
Paul, Isaac, you know what time it is. Time for the strength test, a fan favorite at the cringeworthy flex test. And we're gonna flex those blades to 35 degrees in either direction. If you're still holding true, we're gonna go to 45 degrees in either direction. Paul, you ready for this?
Not really, but go ahead and bend away.
So, Paul, as far as the construction of your blade goes, the handle's comfortable. We saw how well this sword cuts. You did a good job, but if you look into that blade, you can actually see a dark spot on both sides of those blades. And whether that's a flaw that you picked up in the forging process or a flaw in the steel, I have no way of really telling right now. The grain structure on this looks fine, but having it shatter, having it pop like that, that's a big issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, Paul, we absolutely hate to see that. You put a lot of work into your blade. You made it past the 35 on both sides, but you did break on the way to 45. But you're not out of the fight yet. Isaac, you've got to survive both of the 35-degree turns, as well as the official ruling of 40 degrees toward the south.
My heart is in my throat. This is literally make or break.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Paul, I want to say thank you for your hard work. You have what it takes to fight in this forge. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Thank you, gentlemen. This was such a good experience, and it was an honor to compete against such a good competitor.
Isaac, we asked you to build General Grant's Donaldson sword. You performed phenomenally and built us something that is not only functional, but absolutely beautiful and stunning to look at. You are the Forged in Fire champion, and you just earned yourself a check for $10,000. Congratulations.
I'm the Forged in Fire champion, baby! Woo!
How do you feel?
Cloud 9, feeling so good.
That's a remarkable piece of work, and you should be incredibly proud of it.
Thank you. There's just too many feelings going through my head and my heart to really process what's all happening right now. I can't believe it. I'm feeling so good.
Mike, Cody, now we're sending you back to your home forges to make an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the Pipe Tomahawk. Nice. Tomahawks are a First Nations weapon. The Pipe Tomahawk served as both a practical and ceremonial tool among northeastern Native Americans. This variation on the tomahawk symbolized both war and peace, with a deadly axe head on one side and ceremonial smoking pipe on the other. Original tomahawks were made from wood and sharpened stones, but in the 16th century, metal heads were introduced thanks to trading with the newly arrived European settlers. This deadly weapon was light and nimble, making it lethal for both chopping and throwing. The versatility of the Pipe Tomahawk can be seen in the film, The Last of the Mohicans. Your final challenge is to forge a pair of pipe tomahawks. They must be effective working, fully functional versions of the pipe tomahawks that you see here. When I say working, you gotta be able to smoke them, gents. Good luck. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck, bro.
My name is Cody Craig. Some people have been blessed with a silver tongue. I have not, but I've been blessed with silver paws because I can make a lot of things and I have such a diverse background that could really give me an edge. Today, I'm just going to try and accomplish getting this big round stock down about 1.5 inches square. That'll be closer to the final dimensions for the hawks, so I'll be able to work them a little easier once I'm there. Heat and hammer, heat and hammer. The quench goes wrong. You either have to start over. Here we go. And so that's very stressful. And in we go. Number 1 appears to be good. And here comes number 2. No love pops in this one either. I just gave birth to a pair of twin boy tomahawks, I suppose. So making tomahawks that are smokable, super unique parameter. I found a bit that electricians use to run long cables like through walls. It's 24 inches long. Make sure I didn't go through the side, which I definitely did. So I got some axe handles made out of ash. I'm gonna shape them down to be tomahawk handles, and then I'm gonna split them in half and draw out the groups. Overall, it's been fairly tedious having to go back and forth just to make sure they match. I mean, doing it once is one thing, but having a system to be able to do it multiple times is different. I'm gonna take a break from tomahawks for a long while.
I'm Mike Rowley. I'm a teacher and coach 7th and 8th grade girls basketball. I am very competitive, and I figure if I just beat one person per round, I can win. You never know with Damascus. I mean, it's always a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. Billets are going in. Woo! Full speed ahead. I'm drifting the holes to be able to attach the handle later, and I see it tear out, and my heart just freaking drops to the soles of my feet. I got over exuberant. I was hitting it too hard instead of keeping it up to temperature. I have to start completely over because it is a matching pair. So stinking frustrating. I refuse to be the first person on Forged in Fire to not hand in finished weapons. And so I go to plan B, which is simply make a pair of pipe tomahawks out of farrier's rasp. I caught up pretty quickly. All I've got to do today is fit the tomahawk head to the handles and punch a hole through the top of the handle to ensure that it will draw smoke. I just sucked in so much sawdust.
Gentlemen, your weapons will now be put through a series of tests. But up first, the smoke test. You guys ready?
I'm not a smoker, so I didn't actually smoke out of it, but this is the one test that I am uber confident on.
Ready? 3.
Works. All right, smoke test is good.
1 test down, 3 more to go.
Bladesmiths, this is the kill test. Find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do. I'll take your tomahawks and go ham on these big carcasses. Mike, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir. That was awesome.
All right, Mike. These are made to chop deep. It's easy to maneuver and deliver that kind of damage. Overall, sir, your weapons will kill.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Cody, you're up next. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. All right, Cody, let's talk about your pipe tomahawks right here. The brass accents you have on the handle does make for a very good grip. It chops deep, it slices. Most importantly, your pipe tomahawk, sir, will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, to test the strength of your weapons, I'll be throwing them multiple times into our wooden target here. Mike, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good job.
All right, Mike, so right off, these have a really good feel to them. Comfortable handle. They're very symmetrical. Blade on this one held up beautifully. This one has a bit of a delamination right down here at the bottom. And then you've got that other delamination on the edge, but it's not coming apart. And it doesn't appear to be affecting the integrity of the blade. Both pieces are still tight, so excellent job.
Thank you.
All right, Cody, you're up. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So nerve-wracking. Really? That was awesome.
All right, Cody. These look very stout, but they feel very light. I see no damage on either.
Awesome.
What happened?
I didn't follow the old adage, measure twice, cut once.
The difference in length is probably an inch. Didn't really affect the throw at all. They're solid pieces. They're strong. They throw great.
Awesome.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
The tomahawk was originally a native weapon adopted by the early Americans in the revolution against the British colonials. To see how sharp your weapons are, I'm going to take your tomahawks and try to penetrate these redcoats. Mike, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir. Sick.
Well, Mike, your tomahawks, sir, as you can see, are sharp. They cut easily into these redcoats. It will cut.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Cody, you're up. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, Cody, your tomahawks are a pleasure to wield. They feel good, and I can index. Your tomahawk, sir, will cut.
Thank you.
Mike, Cody, you're both badass American bladesmiths. However, in this competition, there can only be one Forged and Fire champion, and that champion is Mike. Congratulations, you are the new Forged and Fire champion. Cody, unfortunately, your tomahawks did not make the cut.
Cody, these are the kind of competitions we love seeing, where two bladesmiths make weapons that perform almost identically. And it came down to symmetry. We asked for a matched pair of tomahawks, and that symmetry is what cost it.
All right, Cody, at this time, I have to ask you to please surrender your weapons.
Big shout out and big congrats to Mike. You know, you brought your A game, I brought my A game, and clearly you're just a little better at measuring than I am.
Mike, congratulations. You are our new Forged and Fire champion, and that is a title that comes with a check for how much?
$10,000.
That's right, $10,000, buddy. Please present your tomahawks to the judges.
I'm Forged in freaking Fire champion, and it feels amazing. I can't even believe it. I can't stop smiling, dude. I'm trying not to.